Bob Hughes, skipper of Heritage.
First off, a warm welcome to the Canadian team, and something maybe everybody else doesn't understand or appreciate, but the cup doesn't happen. It sits on the shelf back there unless somebody from Canada issues a challenge. And to issue a challenge, they've got to commit a lot of time and resources. So none of us would be standing here unless Grant would have stepped up to the plate and been motivated to come get their cup back. So big thank you to Grant for making this competition possible. Second thing is that we all get to compete, which we all love to do. Sailboat racing is an amazing sport and experience, but obviously we don't get to do it unless there's a lot of volunteers that are giving of their time. From the judges to the race committee, all of you that give of your time, which you could be doing a lot of other things with so that we can compete and go out and compete for this trophy. Thank you very, very much for doing that. We appreciate it. Sometimes I don't think you get enough recognition for it, but thank you very much for your time. Before we introduce our team, for those of you that are new to West Michigan, when we got this cup here, we wanted to make it a special experience. And when I moved to West Michigan about 25 years ago from the center of the state, after a few years I noticed that West Michigan just gets things done. People's attitude here is just, let's figure out a way to do it, let's raise the money, let's get the people, let's get the support. Special things happen in West Michigan. So for all the people that have participated, when you see the list at the club of the people that have supported, people that housing, boats, obviously Mary DeVries and others, thank you so much for being West Michigan and making this a special place and a special event. With that, my teammates, and some of this will be repeat from those of you before, but it's the same team. Nobody quit, which is really good news. They're doing a great job. But more importantly, before that boat even leaves the dock, the people that have given us a great boat to sail, led right over here by member Mr. Tommy Giesler. If you ever have the privilege of sailing under a boat managed and run by Tommy, you're going to have a great boat, super well prepared and super well organized. So, Tommy, thank you very much. People that make Tommy look good besides his wife and two daughters, standing next to him, Mark Penny, Brian Janey, and Morgan Reeser. They have all been tremendous help to our team and are definitely part of it. In the front of the boat, Mr. Sean Doogie. Come on, stand up. I'm not going to even butcher your name. Say it.
Cool.
Exactly. French Canadian right here. Anyways, Sean Doogie is from the Gorge area and is married and has one child and one on the way. A bit of an outdoorsman himself and does a great job on the bow. Has been a professional sailor for many years and can-do kind of attitude. You never hear him complain. Always like, how can we do this better? His shoes, I think we talked the story about his mall walkers last time, but you can ask him to see the mall walkers if you want later. Next up to Doogie is our floater and another West Michigan person, Mr. Nate Reynolds. Besides being a Michigan Wolverine, Nate is married and lives in Traverse City, has two children, a former very accomplished wrestler, and now he's a great sailor. Does a little bit everything on the boat besides keeping electronics running, makes things go up and down, and takes care of the things everybody else forgets to do when we're going into a bad situation. Next, Mr. Local Boy himself, Mr. Clean, Mr. David Sly. Dave's dad is here because Dave's on the boat, so Dave carries his dad. I just want to make sure everyone knows that. But Dave's been sailing for a long, long time, has a great family with a bunch of kids, great small boat sailor, and it's neat to have him back on our boat. The last time we sailed together, we won Key West Boat of the Week, so he's a good luck charm and, more importantly, does an awesome job on the boat. In the pit, another West Michigan boy, Mr. Matty Noreen. Boy. In the pit, Mr. Matty Noreen. Matty's from Spring Lake, just up the beach. He is married and has two kids and a lab. And he is a bit of a craftsman himself, can rig or carve or make just about anything. And we have been joined at the hip for many, many, many years, had lots of arguments and fights, and even kissed and made up a few times. But Matty's a dear friend and hates to lose, and a great guy to run the pit. Used to be a bowman and kind of moved to the back of the boat as he got a little bit older. But you won't find anybody more determined than Matt. Next, on the mast, another West Michigan boy over in the back, Mr. Billy Sleeman. Billy lives in Grand Rapids and is married and has two lovely daughters. I actually introduced him to his wife years ago, so I try to take credit for that whenever possible. Billy has his own business. Billy's really, really strong, a great wrestler, somebody you want on your team if you start a fight with your big mouth. But gets the kite up and down and hikes incredibly hard, and an awesome winning attitude. So super excited to have Billy back on the boat. We sailed together for many years a long time ago. Now, from another continent, on the offside trimmer spot, we have Mr. Will Ryan, otherwise known as Simon Laban. Will is a young talent from Australia. We met Will through our match racing cohorts, Torver Mirsky, and he has just been a pleasure to have on board. Very young, but very talented, and in the offside trimmer spot, calls the pressure and works his tail off on the boat. And he's been willing to be here away from home a lot this summer, and it's just been great to have on the team. Right next door to Will is our jib and spin trimmer, and you might think he's from Holland if you look at his last name, Mr. Willem van Wey, but he's actually from Coronado. Interesting guy. His dad is a Navy SEAL, outdoor paddleman, paddleboards guy, just likes to be outside and do all kinds of crazy things, has a lab at home, been a professional sailor for many years, and very few people I've sailed with do a better job of trimming a kite or a jib than Willem. And when he's on the boat, he is all business and just an overall great guy to be around. Willem van Wey. Not every regatta you get to do, you get to sit next to a guy that has won the America's Cup 4 times. But that is a privilege of mine in this regatta, and somebody that certainly has made our team better. When you're racing identical boats against a team as good as that, you want to try to get that boat going as fast as possible. Hard to find somebody in terms of setting up a rig, trimming sails, or interacting with the crew on match racing moves than Mr. Warwick Fleury, all the way from Auckland, New Zealand. Warwick is one of those guys that's not in love with himself talking and doesn't say something unless he means it. And when he says something, you better listen because it's usually really right. So he's been great to have on the team. Finally, the last guy behind me is a guy that we've sailed against for many years and actually hated because, you know, when you're next to him, you have a good chance of losing. Really talented. Any guy that Terry Hutchinson would pick first as his tactician, you know has to be really good. And so when the option became available for us to get Morgan Larson as our tactician, we were very ecstatic. Morgan is married and lives in the Gorge. He is a big-time outdoor guy, and something that you'll find interesting about him is that he's a professional sailor, but he spends as much time sailing not getting paid as he does getting paid because he loves the sport so much. He's got a couple of his own boats. You don't see too many professional sailors that sail as much on their own as Morgan. He's a real breath of fresh air, great demeanor on board, and he's been really nice to get to know during this entire campaign, and obviously very talented. So that's our team. Feel very fortunate to be part of it, and we are very excited to race.